Hello, my dear students. I hope you all are fine. So, once again, welcome back to your geography class. Today, I shall be starting a new chapter, that is chapter number 10, Denudation. So, without much delay, let's start the chapter. So, first of all, we need to know what do we understand by denudation. So denudation is a process of breaking and removing the rocks from the surface of the earth. It is wearing away of landmass by various processes like weathering, erosion, mass movement, and transportation. Denudation is a dynamic process and it results in lowering the level of land. Now the processes involved in denudation are weathering, mass wasting and erosion. Now we already know what is weathering. So weathering is the physical breakdown or disintegration and chemical alteration, decomposition of rock at or near the earth's surface. So weathering is the disintegration and decomposition of rock. Next is mass wasting. Mass wasting is a downslope transfer of Earth's material due to gravity. The steeper the slope, the more rapid is the movement. Next is erosion. Erosion is the physical removal of material by mobile agents such as glacier ice, water, and winds. Now let's check out how these processes act together. In general, these three processes are described as having sequentially. First, rock breaks apart, weathering. Then it swirls down, mass wasting. And lastly, it gets carried away, erosion. So these are the three important processes which are involved in denudation. The four active agents of denudation are water, wind, waves, and glacial ice. In this chapter, we shall study the work of rivers and wind as agents of denudation. Now let's move on to work of a river. Now, as far as the work of a river is concerned, a river is a natural channel of water. We can see over here that river is a natural channel of water that flows down the hill towards the ocean. So before we learn about the course of a river, certain terms we have to understand. So number one, source. So what do we understand by source? The place of origin of a river is called source. Mountain is the source of a river. Number two, mouth. Where a river enters the sea or disappear before joining the sea is called mouth. Number three, tributaries. The streams or small rivers which join the main rivers are called its tributaries. And distributaries, where a river divides into channels or smaller rivers, they are called the tributaries. Now, what is course of a river? The path along which the river flows is known as the course of a river. So these are some important terminology related to the work of a river. Now next is the profile of a river. Now, what is profile of a river? So this is the profile of a river. From the source to its mouth, a river is divided into three main sections, such as upper course, middle course, and lower course. So these three sections of a river are called the profile of a river. Upper course of a river is also known as young stage, and here the main work of a river is erosion. The middle course of a river is also known as mature stage, and here the main work of a river is transportation and some deposition. The lower course of a river is also known as old stage, and here the main work of a river is deposition. Now let's learn about the upper course or the initial stage of a river. So we already know that this is the upper course of a river. So the main characteristics of river in the initial stage or upper course of the river are: number one, river flows swiftly due to the presence of steep slope lies in a hilly area. So here river flows swiftly due to the presence of steep slope. And number two, it erodes its beds and banks and carries large boulders of rock with it. So here the main work of a river is erosion, and it erodes its beds and banks and carries all the large boulders of rock with it. Now next is landforms. Now what are the major forms in the upper course? So there are so many landforms on the earth's surface which has been created by the erosional work of the river. So what are they? Let's look into this. So number one is V-shaped valley, number two is I-shaped valley, and number three is waterfall. Now let's discuss in detail. First, V-shaped valley. A V-shaped valley is a narrow valley which is formed from a stream eroding downward through a process called downcutting. It forms English alphabet V. That is why it is known as V-shaped valley. In hilly areas, V-shaped valleys are very common. Even you get to see V-shaped valley near Tista River while traveling to Siliguri. Next is I-shaped valley. So I-shaped valley develops in those areas where the volume of water is more and rock masses are not very hard or resistant. It forms English alphabet I. That is why it is known as I-shaped valley. So when the river eroding the landform in the downward side, then it is known as I-shaped valley. But remember one thing, when the river erode the valley sideward, not in a vertical way but in a horizontal way, it is known as V-shaped valley. That is the difference between the V-shaped and the I-shaped valley. I-shaped valley means vertical erosion or the vertical down cutting, and V-shaped valley means the horizontal erosion or the horizontal cutting. Now next is waterfall. Now if the hard rock and soft rock are sequentially placed, then what will happen is the river will not be able to erode the hard rock. but can easily erode the soft rock. So after some period of time, there will be complete erosion of soft rock, but hard rock remains there. So due to the erosion of soft rock, river can easily fall down because it is not getting any support from the soft rock. So these type of landform will create waterfall. And when the water is falling here in the foot area, it will create a hole that is known as plunge pool. So this is all about the waterfall. So V-shaped valley, I-shaped valley and waterfall are the three important landform features formed in the upper course or the initial stage due to the erosional work of a river.